Another episode of a Harlequins podcast, 2 words and 4 quarters. My name's Michael, and as always, I'm sat here with my cousin Will. How's things, mate?
Very, very good, which is a rarity off the back of a defeat, but I really enjoyed yesterday. Every aspect of it. I thought we got an 80-minute performance and passion. Every single player put their hand up, didn't they? So selection next week is going to be tough, but it's a big opportunity to cement ourselves in the top 4 when we've got Gloucester at home. But yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. We've had a big week, obviously. Yes, they did knock the wind out of my sails slightly, but on the overall performance, I was, can't be too disheartened given where we were a few weeks ago. But no, we'll obviously talk about that a little bit further down the line. But yeah, tough old week back at school for me. So back to the coalface, grafting away, working as usual. But no, good to be back and good to have a little bit of normality. But yeah, we'll get straight into it. So a couple of things come out this week, bit of chat for us. Obviously, we had some pretty good social media bits and bobs sort of surface, but on a sort of news front, big news this week was Steele's re-signing. What do you reckon?
Massive. He was one of the players I thought we were going to lose. I thought he was going to follow in the same footsteps as James Lynagh and head back up to Scotland. I feel if you want to play for your country, it's best you play your club rugby there as well. But I know they have different policies in Ireland, Wales and Scotland to England. I'm delighted we've kept him on. He's going to be huge for us going forwards, and he's already challenging DC for his shirt. And actually, I've seen DC really step up over the last few weeks. He's been phenomenal. With Danny and Scott there, we've got unbelievable depth there. 2 really, really strong nines. Obviously, Danny's been around the block and got numerous caps for England. Scott Steele's just starting out his international journey. Going forwards, you need a really strong squad.
On the bench with 80 Argentina caps as well. So there's plenty of depth at scrum half. How good is that?
Absolutely, yeah. And going forward, when you want to challenge for championships, when you want to challenge for premierships, European Cups, you need to have depth. It's a squad performance, as Jerry Flannery said on numerous occasions. And 100%. I'm surprised we've kept him because I really thought he was going to go to Scotland. I'm absolutely buzzing we've got him.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Can't completely agree. That was a really, really good bit of news to get the week going because I think he's, a very popular member in a sort of fan sense as well. I think a lot of fans came out pretty heavily in support of him re-signing, which is great. And like you say, if we want to go on to challenge and climb the ladder and find ourselves in sort of championship winning positions, then we do need depth and we need strength off the bench and in the squads. And we've got 3 international scrum halves now in our squad, which I think is amazing.
Absolutely, yeah. I get excited thinking about Scott Steele at 9 and Marcus Smith at 10 for the next few years. I think that's a great duo. And speaking of Marcus Smith, it was his 100th cap this week. Yeah. That's a huge achievement at his age, but also, I don't know if you've seen the video of Danny Kerr presenting with his 100th shirt. It's brilliant. And Danny sums it up when his son's favourite Quins player is Marcus Smith and not himself. So that says a lot about the excitement he brings to fans, and he's going to inspire a lot of young players coming through. So huge congrats to Marcus on that one. That's a mega achievement.
Yeah, absolutely. I really enjoyed that little clip of Danny, and I can almost guarantee that at the start of Marcus's career, he's looking at Danny Kerr as England's 9 and thinking, wow, that's pretty cool. And now he's the set 10, he's the future of our club, and he's playing alongside him. So no, it was amazing. And yeah, we spoke about Marcus almost every episode we've done, and you can't underestimate how important he is to us going forward. He's the future. He's our goose stepping Filipino. So yeah, buzzing to have him. And obviously, tough old time down at Sandy Park. It's cool, but it was a bit of a mud bath. It was
very sandy park.
Very sandy park. Yeah. Tough old surface to play on. But it was. I saw some chat during the week, and they've had men's and women's sides both trained down there, keeping them safe in these COVID times. So yeah. Fair, but that's the service we were on. And what do you think of the game? Obviously, I did a bit of chat pre-game and some real huge matchups. I know the BT do their key matchups on the stream before, but Smith and Simmons and then Smith and Don Brown were the 2 key ones to me, and I was really looking forward to seeing how that panned out. What do you reckon?
Yeah, completely agree. I think that was a great little subplot to the game, wasn't it? I think a lot of neutral fans would have been watching and keeping a keen eye on the Marcus Smith-Joe Simmons matchup and also the battle at 8 as well. I think as a squad, we did a very good job of keeping Sam Simmons quiet, actually. I didn't think he had one of his storming games that he has on a weekly basis now. And maybe that's why the game was so tight. We really identified their strengths and nullified them. So I think Marcus Smith probably won the 10 battle for me, although on the losing side. I think most people would say whoever wins the game, it's their 10 has probably had the better game. But I think that's epitomised by the opening phases. Actually, just watching the game, that first half, I felt like I was at the stadium. I've never been so engrossed in a
You
game.
had a bit, didn't you? I know. It's weird.
I was
Obviously, we've been watching these games, in a sort of podcast sense for 7 or 8 weeks now, and that's about as excited I've seen from you before the game. I could sense it. You were
definitely. It was the underdog tag.
Yeah,
the underdog. Because a few of our games in recent weeks, I've expected us to get a result or to at least be there or thereabouts. This game, I kind of thought, we even said it on the pod last week, success is taking a point away, which is what we did in the end. But we were looking like we could take all of them for most of the game. And it was brilliant to watch. I loved the passion and the enthusiasm from every single player on the park. I think each and every single one of them put their hand up, particularly in the opening phases where Exeter are a brilliant, brilliant team, aren't they? I mean, European champions, incredibly well coached. They may not have superstar names all over their team sheet, but the way they play as a group is unrivaled. It's why they're champions, right? And they sliced us open a few times right at the start. You had Marcus Smith covering tackle on Joe Simmons. You had Danny getting back and making a try-saving tackle as well, and Will Evans there to win a penalty. So you can't fault the effort at all. And actually, I thought our performance was epitomised by Danny and Marcus. I thought they were brilliant in defence for two relatively small guys. I think they really stepped up, but then also their game management with the kicking, the way they pinned them into the corners, really controlled the game, which is something we didn't have against Northampton. So it's good to see that we're starting to apply that a little bit more. Yeah,
it was weird actually. The kicking game was excellent yesterday. Obviously, I looked pretty windy down there as well, but no, the kicking yesterday, just in general open play, I thought was excellent. Danny controlled the game, just what he does. I mean, he was just played at tempo, but yeah, it was weird actually looking at the starting lineup when it came out. I was sort of. We had our pack back, when we obviously, that Archie White started as our 6 in those first sort of run of games we had, and we hit some form. But James Chisholm's a huge player for us. I think probably on paper that's probably our strongest 8. I mean, how good was it to have Will Evans back? I mean, my God, he's so good.
Yeah, I agree. For sure. I think that was probably one of the heaviest packs we could have put out, maybe with the exception of someone like Elia coming in at hooker. But I think that was a conscious decision when you think about the physicality of Exeter and how much they front up in the pack. I think it was quite important that we got our heavies out there on the park from the start of the game. And actually, I thought Chiz had a really good game. So the competition at 6 is just getting better and better. But as you say, Will Evans is just a proper 7, isn't he? I don't think we've had a proper 7 at the club for some time. And he gets me excited. I was a fly half or a centre. I was never really that physical. No, that's a lie. I was nailing people for fun. Let me say that
again. Leave that in. That's got to stay in. That's staying in.
Okay, I won't edit that bit out.
Yeah, go on, keep going.
But no, I was a fly half or a centre, so turnovers were never really a big part of the game that got me excited. But watching him play, and he's always the second man to a ruck, and he's straight over the top, and I get really excited watching him tackle. I've never been so excited to have a proper 7 in our team. They're brilliant to watch, and I think Webb just gets better and better.
7s from the club, I've got to think back almost to someone like Will Skinner from the years.
I was thinking Will Skinner as well,
as a genuine 7.
Yeah, we've just not had one. We've been a very good team without one, but now that we've got an out-and-out 7 just coming in, turning it over, breaking up the opposition's attack, it's a noticeable difference. Yeah. And I don't think it's a coincidence that we're sat in 3rd in the table.
I think that first try as well, the first try was set up by the back row boys, wasn't it? It was Evans to Chiz to Donbrand, who just delayed that, took the contact, delayed that pass, and handed it off to Danny. I mean, that was great to see. I mean, when that first try runs in, suddenly I'm sort of, daring to dream is a bit extravagant, but I just sort of think, oh God, we're not going to actually do them, are we? I was just sort of sitting there thinking, oh
yeah, don't tease me like that.
No,
don't give me the hope.
Don't offer me that. Don't offer me that olive branch of hope, just and then rip it away.
I've always thought me and you should set up like a little camera that records our reaction, like Fan Zone in football, because the amount I was stood up and screaming and shouting was
you'd have to have about 15 different angles, so I can't sit still. I move about and run around, and I'm off it.
But I'm really going to gas up Alex Donbrand now, because he made that break, and as a back row, you're obviously a huge physical presence, and you're running at a fullback. Your first thought is, right, I'm going to get up ahead of steam and really run him over. Yeah. But he just had. We talked about the self-discipline last week against Saints and trying to overplay and not being too calculated, but he had that. He was composed. He made that break. He looked around for support. He actually slowed his run. It was like he didn't even want the contact, and it just gave Danny that time to get in support, and the timing of the pass was perfect, and Danny was straight in.
One of the best support runners of all time.
Yeah, and actually I was talking to my flatmate about the Sam Simmons, Alex Donbrandt debate, because Alex Donbrandt doesn't look like a Test match 8. Let's be honest. He's out of uni. He's
not yet.
He's his skill set. When you compare it to Sam Simmons just looks like a Test match animal, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah,
he's just a brute force. But for me, Alex Donbrandt is so good, not because of his physicality. He's obviously a very good physical player, but his skill and his reading of the game. He's smart. He's a very, very smart player. And his skill set is exceptional for a big man. Sam Simmons may have just gone hell for leather and tried to run over the fullback, and then you don't score. But he just had the spatial awareness, knew exactly who was around him, where they were, and read the game perfectly, and that's why we scored. So
I think that's something that he does brilliantly well anyway. Like the spatial awareness thing is ridiculous. I mean, I feel like I mention this game all the time only because it's one of the ones that I recently went to before we had a year out. But that Claremont game where we had Luke Northmore on his shoulder, obviously those are two guys that have played a lot of rugby with each other. But I remember watching that try back, and he's almost not even looking when he gives the pass. Northmore's runs off his shoulder. Did the same thing a couple of weeks ago when we played Sale at home. You know, ball comes at the back of the ruck, gives it to Donbrandt straight away. And he's quick on his feet. I mean, he's not like that lightning pace of Sam Simmons, but he's not far off it. And he beats the defender, draws one in, gives the pass. Like it's a pretty rare skill set for a back row, especially at someone at number 8. I mean, you think of someone like Billy Vunipola playing for England. He's just a truck, isn't he? He's a fantastic player. He's a Test match machine, but he hasn't got that real X factor speed or hands that someone like a Donbrandt and, in fairness, a Sam Simmons has. But yeah, that was an amazing matchup to watch yesterday. And the other battle that really intrigued me was up front. I mean, it's two pretty good sort of front threes, and I think the scrum battle was pretty tasty yesterday. But what I will say is that Joe Marler is the best loose head in the Northern Hemisphere. He was immense yesterday, and I'm so glad, obviously, for whatever reason it is, that he's still playing for us. He's not away with England, but he's just so good. I mean, he's probably underrated and underappreciated at times between Quins fans just because we've watched him for so long. But across the last 5 or 6, he's enjoying. He looks like he enjoys playing rugby forwards. I remember, I have to cast my mind back to a game a year or so ago after the Stoop, and he did an interview just saying, "Yeah, that was proper fun." I think he looks like he's having fun at the minute, and some of the things he does in the game, those little
brilliant to watch.
Yeah, that little out the back passes. He absolutely nailed Alex Cuthbert yesterday. I enjoyed that.
He was nailing it, and it's what we haven't talked about it yet, but Joe Marler's tackling in the last few weeks, he's up to a level. He's always been a fantastic tackler. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. He nails people, and there'll always be one hit per game, which sort of the commentary team are like, "Whoa, did you see that?" But I found myself going to Twitter every 5 minutes, like Joe Marler's just absolutely nailed Cuthbert. 5 minutes later, he's done the same thing again. And I don't know if you noticed, but after Marler had nailed Cuthbert, he dropped about 3 balls. So I don't know if he was his head rent free.
Yeah. I mean, I think about other people that are dominating the tackles at the minute. Tyrone Green, 20 tackles on the wing yesterday. Ridiculous.
Is that what it was? At one point, someone said it was 17. I was like, there's still 20 minutes left.
I will say, I saw a couple of man of the match polls on Twitter yesterday. I think Rugby Quins and Friend of the Stoop do one. I had Joe Marler as my man of the match. A lot of people had Tyrone Green. I will take nothing away from Tyrone Green. I think, especially since he's coming to the side at Newcastle, he's rapid, he scores tries, he tackles brilliantly. He looks like a player, like a serious player. But he does make me hold my breath a little bit when he flies out of the line on the wing and sort of leaves that overlap defensive space. He's quick enough to circle back and go and make the tackle.
Yeah.
But a couple of times I'll sit there and he'll sort of chuck up a little bit. And I'm going, oh my God, where are you going, Tyrone?
Yeah.
And then,
I had the exact same feeling, mate. I had the exact same feeling because he shoots out of the line. It's very instinctive of him. I don't think it's too calculated in terms of positional awareness, but he shoots out of the line and I'm thinking, oh God, it's on here. They just need to hit the man out wide and they've got acres of space. But his gas, his acceleration, he just turns around and gets back and makes the covering tackle. So
yeah, he's got wheels, hasn't he?
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, there's work to be done with his positioning and making the right decision when to shoot out and when not. But it's good to know that even if he does, he will get back and make that tackle. So he needed to do it 20 times yesterday, which was impressive. So he's quite reliable.
I feel like we haven't really mentioned Exeter that much, but I don't really mind that. I mean,
I think the reason for that is because they go about their business in sort of unspectacular style. They're very good, aren't they? They're just winners,
machine, aren't they?
They're winners. They're a winning machine. You're absolutely right. But one thing I will say is they made plenty of errors yesterday. Lots of handling errors. They really gave us that opportunity to win the game.
I I think that's a mark of a
Really
mark
good.
of a world-class outfit, though. Even when they're not playing brilliantly, even when they're a little bit off the ball, they just know how to win games. I think one thing that is inevitable, and it was mentioned again on commentary yesterday, and it was mentioned during the game a lot, when they have those repeat phases on our line, it's almost it just doesn't.
Inevitable, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost there is a
I
sense.
actually said to you when they scored their try, I'm
Yeah,
glad they scored it in the 74th minute because it gave us an extra 5 minutes or so to get
yeah,
up there and half and try and win the game. If
yeah.
they were knocking away on the door for another 2 or 3 minutes and then they score in the 77th minute, we've got no chance of going back down their end and winning the game, really.
No,
So I'm glad
agreed.
they scored when they did because, as you say, it's almost inevitable they will score. They're that good, and that's
Yeah.
nothing against our defence. Like we defended brilliantly, I thought.
Yeah, our tackling was great.
They're just a bloody good team. Actually, I want to talk to you about drop goals. And I want
Yeah,
to talk to you about two separate occasions. The first one was on the brink of half time when Danny goes for his drop goal. I
yeah.
think we've got different opinions here, but what was your opinion on that?
As I've reflected on it, it's become more of a better option. But at the time, I was like, no, we must have gone through 10 or 12 phases. And not that we were going anywhere, not that we were progressing. I mean, we were, 10, 15 meters out. But it just felt like we had control of the ball. Even if we weren't, I don't know, maybe even if we didn't feel like we could have scored. I guess the difference with Exeter is people says they just don't give you the chance to have a shot at goal. They don't give you the chance to have 3 points. So maybe it was like, look, we're stalling a little bit here. We're not really going forward. We've got to try something. Don't mind it at all, but I would have liked to have seen it better set up. I would have liked to have seen it with a blocker, Marcus at the back, rather than Danny sort of trying to flick it off the base of the ruck.
Okay, yeah, I'll agree with you on that one. What I'll say is, I think we'd been down in their 22 for a little while. We kind of lost a little bit of momentum, although we still had the ball. We were sort of crushing it up, going through the phases, and we weren't really getting anywhere. We're 10-7 up against Exeter. The clock's in the red. You're about to go in at half time. We talk about red zone efficiency, and I think that's the learning we had from last week. Like, right, we need to take points when we visit their 22. Let's give it a go in at 13-7. But I do agree. I think it was just Danny's off-the-cuff decision. I don't think anyone else knew about it.
But that's what makes him a great player, isn't it? That's what sets him apart from other scrum halves in the last 10 years.
Yeah, he's got drop goals for England, you know.
Yeah, I know. And this is the thing. When it happened, I was there. I almost felt disappointed that we'd almost let an opportunity go. That's what it felt like a little bit. We almost just let a chance go.
Yeah. I think against Exeter, when you're in the 22, you need to take points.
Yeah, agreed.
At that moment in the game when it's half time, you've already got a lead. Let's just chip away a little bit further, extend that lead a little bit, and then go in at half time.
And if we were playing something like Newcastle or Bath or someone like that, I think we maybe would have done that. We'd have kept the ball for another 3 or 4 phases and waited for penalty.
Yeah, I agree.
But with Exeter, they just don't give you that opportunity. What I will say, missed opportunities. Obviously, you could probably say the same thing at the drop goal for the end. Why didn't?
That's my second question to you. I wanted to talk about drop goals. That was the first one. The second one is at the end. For me, you have to set up the drop goal there. But Marcus was out of position every time because he was either in a ruck or he was ball in hand. So he's never really set. The frustrating thing for me though is it looked like they never considered it.
No,
it looked like they were just going for the try.
Yeah, I agree.
That was slightly bemusing to me, but. I really hope we get another shot at Exeter in the playoffs. Put that right. Yeah, it's a good learning for us.
I actually think shout out to Scott Baldwin. I think his tweet yesterday was like, "Yeah, we'll get to play Exeter again this year." I think that's the thing now, isn't it? From Exeter, whenever it was, start of the year, October time, to Exeter in March, to Exeter in May, maybe. I'm thinking, you know what? Let's see where we are. What have we got to lose? We might, whether we play them away, whether we play them at home, don't care. Let's go wherever it is, and we'll try and do a number on them. Yep.
We have Gloucester at home next week. That looks like 5 points in my eyes. I expect 5 points, but four will do.
Four will do.
Look at us getting excited as Quins fans. It's good fun, isn't it? But I think you made a good point about how we're a top 4 side now, and anything less than that would be a real shame to miss out on now.
Yeah, come season's end, it's top 4 for me. That's what we're aiming at now. That's what we've got to look forward to. And I think all fans and I think the players understand that, and I think everyone knows that. So we'll see. Anyway, we were incredibly lucky this week to have Lynagh join the podcast. A young guy, recently done his A-levels, spent a bit of time on loan. He's graduated in through the academy, and he is tearing it up. He's had a breakthrough season. We've loved watching him. He's on fire. He's on fire. We've loved watching him play. And we were really, really lucky to have a chat with him this week, and he spoke very well, and we can't wait for you to hear it. Really, really lucky this week to have Lynagh join the pods. Thank you so much for coming on. Me and Will have been looking forward to getting, a senior squad member on.
Thank you. Thank you for
we're just going to do a sort of quick jump in. Obviously, you unfortunately weren't involved in the game down at Sally Park yesterday. What were your thoughts on the game? I'm sure you watched it. How do you think it went?
Yeah, no, I thought it was a great shift from all the boys. I mean, right up until the very last moments we played so well. We defended. I think Tyrone, he had like nearly 20 tackles as the winger. So I mean, that just shows that how hard everyone's working. But I'm really proud of everyone, and definitely the messages that came through on group chats and all that were all very positive, and very unlucky to lose it right at the end. But there's a lot that we can work on, but a lot of positives as well. So hopefully we can bounce back against Gloucester next week.
Yeah, for sure. As a fan watching on, it actually got me really excited. It's one of those games where, although you don't get the 4 points, you don't get the W, we take so much confidence from that just watching, just because of the effort that was put in, a big shift from every single player on the park. Some of our criticism in previous episodes over the last few weeks is that we'll have sort of 60 minutes where we're in the ascendancy, or we'll have really strong first half and drop off in the second half. But this felt like a real 80-minute shift. It didn't feel like there was a period where we switched off at all. It was just, there may have been a period where Exeter were better than us. That's rugby. But it felt like a real 80-minute put in from the lads, which was great to see.
No, exactly. That's something we've been working a lot on, just being more consistent as a whole playing group, and not only with our wins or losses. It's we don't want to just start off strong, or likewise allow the team to be strong, the opposition to be strong for 20 minutes right at the start, and then we have to claw our way back in. I think, like you said, it was great to see the boys from the off just do everything we talked about, doing all the basics, pinning Exeter back in their corners, like a lot of what they usually do to other teams. And like you said, I don't think that either team really switched off. I think it was just in the end, it just could have gone either way, and then we were unlucky to be on the losing end of that. But a very positive performance, as you said.
Mate, I won't lie, I was absolutely gutted. I was genuinely heartbroken. Like, obviously, from where we started the season against Exeter, and we got beaten pretty convincingly at home. I was so excited for yesterday, and then we obviously lose it in the last 3 minutes. Just the sign of champions. But I was genuinely gutted. I was watching it, and I was just the wind taken out of my sails a little bit. But anyway, we'll move on. Will, you've got the first question. Let's roll.
Yeah, so I've had a lot of fun writing these questions because it's been a bit of a breakthrough couple of months for you. So all of a sudden, your name's up in all the media, interviews going out left, right, and centre. It's obviously very well documented about your name, and I actually really enjoyed the piece. And I think it was the Mail Online saying that you're literally just conscious of your name and you want to pave your own way. But on that family piece, you've obviously got family all over the world. Born in Italy, now living in London. Your brother's, if he's not already at the Reds, he's on his way to the Reds.
Yeah, he's on his way. He's still here. I'm finishing off his A-levels, so he's off in July.
Yeah. So it must be quite nice having family all over the world, where it almost feels like wherever you go, you're not too far from home. Would you ever consider like a loan move in similar style to Marchant? I know he went to the Blues for a loan period, maybe to go out to the Reds and play with your brother at all. Is that something that you considered? Obviously not in the short term, as you've just signed your contract.
No, I think right now, I made my future pretty clear. But obviously, I'm growing up with the family I have. When my dad used to do the Super Rugby on Sky and stuff like that, that's why I'd wake up on the weekends to watch, and I still love watching it. And the NRL, like rugby from the Southern Hemisphere, just it's good to learn from different aspects of rugby. Like, although the attacking style in Super Rugby is great, the defense might be lacking, and that's why the Premiership's so good, is it builds up your defense as well. But it was definitely something I considered, but now obviously I've signed with Quins, and I'm looking to break through and get like my starting jersey nailed on. But it's definitely something that holds a meaningful part in my heart, because obviously Dad's Australian, I'm half Australian, and I'm not saying that I want to go over there, but just like it's great to learn from people who have played over there, like Joe Marchant and my dad, and then other people, even some of the Fijian guys, their style of playing. It's really good.
Danny Tapwai was obviously a little Queensland Red back in the day, didn't he? Won Super Rugby with them. Yeah. Who's your NRL team?
Probably Brisbane Broncos or the Rabbitohs.
That's like, I spent about a year living in Oz, and lived in Melbourne, so I became a bit of a Storm fan. Quite a lot of my family grew up in the north, so we were all Bradford Bulls fans back in the day. And I was like a fan as a kid in their heyday, and subsequently they have completely dropped off a cliff. So I don't watch much of them anymore. I mean, obviously, like you said, you've just signed a new contract, which is we were absolutely buzzing over. Like that news came out, and we were like, right, class. We're building towards the future here. And obviously, since you've come to the club, it's been said that Mike Brown's been your mentor. Now, Mike is my favourite Quinn of all time. I've said that before. He's my absolute hero. What's he been like, sort of learning off and working with in your first couple of years?
Yeah, no, that is. It started when I came in as an academy boy 2 years ago, and in my first year, and it was the time when he did his knee injury.
Oh, yeah,
and obviously I texted him saying I hope he comes back well and stuff like that. And then he said, now that I have a lot of time, we can go through all your games and like talk about stuff. And that's what, ever since then, that's what we've done. I was obviously on loan at Richmond in my first year, and we went over all our games. He would actually, it wasn't just like a little few notes here and there. He'd go through every clip of mine and note down like what I've done well, what I could do. It's just like, and ever since then we've built up a really good friendship, and we talk about that, we talk about other topics. And I think one of the biggest things he taught me was that no matter what you do, just do it with 110%, because you can turn the wrong decision into the right decision, whether that's kicking, running, by just doing it 100%. And that's one of the biggest pieces of advice I think he gave to me.
Yeah, that's definitely something you notice when you look at the way Brownie plays, isn't it? He doesn't do anything by half yards. It's always 110%. So the next question I've got is stepping away from rugby a little bit.
Yeah.
So a few years ago now, when I was at university, I actually did a placement at the club in their marketing department. Yes. One of their meetings was focused on the players and everything they were doing outside of rugby. And I love knowing that players are looking beyond just rugby and what else they've got going on in their life. And I think it's really interesting to hear what else makes them tick apart from just the rugby ball. So it was things like, I think James Hall's actually studying, I'm not sure which university.
He went to Cambridge, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Cambridge, fair play, smart guy. But yeah, James Hall.
It's a long shout.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to make it there. But
and then obviously Robbo had his cafe. Have you thought about what you might want to do outside of rugby, or any side projects along your playing days, or even life beyond rugby yet? I know you're very early in your career, but I think it's never too soon to think about what else you could be doing.
No, definitely. It's something I've definitely told I've kind of had to promise my mum that I would go and get a uni degree at some stage, because I was waiting until I found out what was happening in like the career trajectory sort of thing. So now that I know I'm here for the next 3 years at least, then that's definitely enough to get a uni degree. And I want to go like down the finance sort of economics route. So that was a really good course I saw called Economic History at LSE. There's just that's just sort of stuff like that, and I like to read about it. I have to if I want to get in, and then that sort of thing. But I don't know, video games as well, as any teenager would like to do. But I haven't really had a thought about doing stuff like cafes and like actual businesses. It's more just been focusing on rugby, and then knowing that I will go and do a uni degree of some sorts, and that's what the RPA have been really good at. Like they've just, as soon as I tell them I want to go this way, they've already looked up several like links online where I can do stuff to help me towards that. So it's just there's a huge support network in the club, like you said, that if you want something, they'll give you all the tools for it. You just need to commit to it, basically. That's
amazing. It's amazing to know the RPA getting behind even guys that are just starting their careers like you. I'm not much of a gamer or at all, but who's there? Also, that's you see it in England stuff now. At the minute, they're all locked in their way playing Call of Duty and stuff like that. Who's the top dog gamer at Quins?
Oh God,
who rates himself?
Oh, well, who rates himself? My mate Sam Riley. He definitely rates himself.
So he was one of the 5 academy guys that just got a new contract as well, wasn't he?
Yeah. He came through with me, Lennox, and himself. We were 3 of our year, and then obviously others from different years. But we've been friends since we were like 14. Oh. So Sam rates himself. Caden's actually a really good Call of Duty player. So there's some shockers as well in the team. I'm not gonna lie.
Go on, name and shame them.
No, I'm not gonna do that. We might have to do a tournament. So just to see.
Oh, right, okay.
No, but yeah.
I mean,
Oh, that would be a great idea.
Yeah,
Get that stream.
I don't know why they haven't done it. I've suggested it multiple times. I've said like basically the whole team plays, then other athletes play, like cricket players play, football. Like Marcus, I think, has played with like Tammy and Ollie Pope and all that sort of people.
Yeah.
So why not just do a cross-sport Warzone game in a private lobby, stream it, and you get donations, you do it for charity, like.
Yeah, I know that Jofra Archer's a big dog Call of Duty player. Actually, one of the guys I was at uni with was like playing with him and Stokesy in the IPL hotel quarantines area, which is mental. But yeah, not a bit out of my reach. I'd like to just quickly sort of touch on that Richmond stuff. I mean, obviously, I live sort of around this area, was a little bit further out in Clapham. Pre-lockdown, I used to go down to the athletic ground all the time. I used to love going down there on a Friday and watching Richmond and watching Scottish, especially while I was a student. There's usually good beers, few good beers flying around there as well. What was that like? Obviously, going back a little bit, you get into Quins, you're in the academy, blah blah blah, you're signing contracts and whatever else, and then suddenly 2 years down the line, you're playing, obviously, unfortunately, in front of no crowd at the Stoop, but it's a bit of a fair cry from the athletic ground in that one against East.
Yeah, no, I mean, the athletic ground had a better atmosphere than what I haven't played for Quins with a crowd yet. So like,
it's mental, isn't it?
I know, it's crazy, but So when because I originally was born in Italy and came here when I was around 4 or 5. Richmond was actually where I started playing rugby, so it was quite cool when I got told when I first came in that my loan club was going to be Richmond. I was like, okay, 5 minutes away from me, that's all I care about. I don't have to go somewhere like East Shore, like 30 minutes away. It's just literally a walk down the road. But like playing there and then like playing for the first team, I've always, like, when I was a mini, I used to always see the first team and I thought they were massive. And then like it's the same school wise, like when you first come into a school and you see the sixth formers, you're like, Jesus, I'm never going to be that big. And then you grow up, and if you take it seriously, you'll just end up bigger than them. So like it's like that sort of thing. It was quite cool. And then as you said, like now playing for Quins quite regularly, pretty cool to see how far I've come. And obviously it's just a start, but just thinking back, like about a year and a bit ago, I was playing for Richmond down the road, and now I played at the Stoop with no crowd. Like it's crazy how it just changed.
Yeah, massively. And I, for one, can't wait to actually get back in the Stoop. And I'm not alone in saying this. And we actually talked about it in our last episode, where obviously Brett Herron got that try right at the death, going the length of the pitch really with Luke Northmore. Imagine being in the crowd for something like that. So, and obviously your breakthrough game for me was obviously Wasps away. With that intercept score, imagine being in a crowd there and the eruption.
I celebrated like there was a crowd, but
I was about to say, if there was a full crowd, would you have given yourself a little bit more? Obviously, intercept try. Would you run in, hands in the air? Sorry, lads, I'm on.
I might have looked at a few people in the crowd. I might have thrown the ball higher into the crowd or something, that sort of thing.
Kiss the badge, give it the beat.
We wouldn't have to worry about social distancing either with the celebrations. It's so annoying now.
It's funny actually watching people run in and start giving the old wall just back off. Everyone away from me. It's so
exactly. That's the new celebration, just like all like air fives, and we have to make up new ones each week and stuff like that. So it's weird, but like that's how it's gonna be.
I'd like to get like a patented version, obviously in the Patriots dynasty, and obviously just in the last Super Bowl, you had Rob Gronkowski from the Bucks just spiking the ball in the end zone. I'd like to see Lynagh run under the sticks from 50 yards and start throwing his hands in the air and doing something. I'd like to get that sort of patented.
Doing something. I'm not sure what yet, but we'll figure it out.
No, I'll be keen for that. I know it's obviously maybe there might be a cliche answer here, but I still think it's relevant. When someone talks, if whoever it is, I think probably it would have been Robbo probably when he was there. When someone starts talking, everyone listens. Who's just got that commanding right? He's talking. I need to take on board this.
Stefan being the captain. It's quite weird because I think people think when someone's the captain of a rugby team, they're like this loud, like just saying loads of stuff, but it was the same with Robbo when he was here. It wasn't like that. It was more just like he'd say one or two things and then that would be it. And like not like it'd be quietly like just assertive. But I think Joe Marler as well, when he talks, it's usually like you do listen to him, and it's always something useful as well. It's never we tried to put a big onus on like no obviously constructive criticism is good, but don't just say something stupid for the sake of it. Just like let the people who usually talk, and then if you have something to add, maybe say it to the side or to the group. But it's I think it's what we have now is a really good culture, and one that's obviously shown with our run of wins, and hopefully bouncing back to next week. But like at the start of the season, like you said, we lost to Exeter quite heavily. And now at least coming back and then just leading for the majority of the game and then just to lose it, like we said, was a bit gutting. But it just shows how far we've come, in my opinion, not only playing wise, but as a group of players.
I think we've got the podcast to thank for that. Since we started the pod, we've been on a pretty hot run of form, so we'll take a bit of credit there for sure.
Let's just we'll put it down to that.
Yeah. So obviously we usually finish these with some quick fire questions, and we've got some pretty tiny ones. We've got a couple of staple questions which we really like to answer. Then we've got a couple of different ones, and obviously Will's mentioned Italian mum, Australian father, English yourself. So you got 3 holiday destinations. You got Lake Como, Italy, the Sydney beaches, or like English countryside. Where are you picking for a week?
Lake. Okay, is the travel to Australia before the week, and does the week start when I get there?
Great question.
Because it takes
no travel needed. Just there, no travel required.
Yeah. Teleport.
I think I'll go Lake Como actually.
Yeah,
because I think it's just I'm quite it's just relaxing, like Italian like countryside, and like. Yeah, and you see loads of celebrities there as well, so that's why I picked that one. So
Bit of celeb spotting.
Exactly.
Glitz and glam.
Yeah, no, I wish I was on that level, but
go Will. You got yours next.
Obviously, breaking into the first team this season, that must come with some sort of initiation. I don't know if it would include a song, but my favourite question that I'll ask any guest we ever get on is, what's your karaoke song?
Oh God, probably I Want It That Way, Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, nice. Classic.
I know. Very good. I'm not giving you a rendition. Maybe for the next one, but
that was actually the next question.
Yeah, we always go straight in. Always go on, give us a little one.
Us Academy boys, we do a good rendition of I Want It That Way.
Yeah, nice.
But like as a whole.
Boys plural. You do it as like a band.
Yeah, we practice.
No way.
Harmony is everything. It's like that scene.
Exactly. Well, there's some good singers. I'm not one, but there are some good singers in the team.
That is sick. I love that.
Again, I'm going to give you another one. So Italy, Australia, England. You've got an Italian sort of lovely pasta dish, Aussie barbecue, or an English Sunday roast.
Oh God. I'm gonna have to go with the pasta as well. Oh. I'm Italian at heart. Honestly, like mum's cooking is lovely. So
yeah,
I take a carbonara. That's what I love. Yeah, that's my favorite. That's probably my favorite food out of everything.
Can't beat that.
Yeah, exactly. It definitely showed when I first came into the pro setup. I was very, very overweight.
Really?
Yeah. No. From I'm pretty sure it's from the pasta. So if you saw me what from what I was like when I came in until it was now, there's a big difference.
Wow.
Cool. My next question. I always like this one because it shows the interest of whoever we're speaking to. But what other sports are you into? You mentioned NRL there. What would your top 3 be? Obviously, rugby union being top, I assume.
Yeah. Well, like it's sometimes nice to get like a bit of break away from rugby. So obviously I do watch it because I still live with my family. So it's me, my 2 younger brothers, my dad, my mum, and the dog. And when the rugby's on, we obviously watch it. But there's also probably my top 3, not including rugby. It would probably be NFL, NRL. I'm not sure for the next one. I really, really like NBA, but I think it was nice. Or F1 really as well. Like I like watching all sports, to be honest. Like cricket.
Who's your NFL team?
Giants.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you have one?
Classic. I get this a lot. Whenever who's your NFL team? I was a Patriots fan because I know. So you see
until Tom Brady left. Until Brady left.
No. Still going strong. Still going strong. The reason was when my first ever like game thing me and my brother had was a PSP. All I really had, and we had the Madden game.
Yeah.
And I was picking a team, and that one said England, and I was like, okay, well I'll pick that one then. That's the story. And then obviously I became a little bit more interested in it as I got older, and then the Patriots were obviously pretty good. Now we're struggling a little bit. We've got some cap space this year. We're gonna go to the draft. We're gonna come back, and we're gonna find the next Brady. I'm confident of that.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. It's weird to think that Brady was near the end of the draft, and the only reason he played was because the starter went down injured.
Yeah. It's an unbelievable story. I'd love to see something like that.
Yeah, great story.
But yeah, I love his mentality as well. So I'm sure that people will apply this in the rugby sense, but he's got 7 Super Bowl rings, and when people ask him, "Well, what's your favourite ring?" he's always like, "Right, the next one. The next one's my favourite."
Yeah, the 8th.
Love that.
He just signed a new contract as well.
Yeah, he's got a one year extension deal, so he'll be there next year. Has anyone got like that in the squad? Like, obviously, he's in my head one of the greatest team sport athletes to ever walk the face of the earth. And I know when you watch like The Last Dance or something that with Michael Jordan, between their ears, they're just different. Anyone in the Quinn squad got that real just sort of edge of I'm going to win no matter what?
I think Brownie.
Yeah,
definitely. I think showing. I mean, I don't think he had a big injury until that knee injury last season. His entire career. I mean, he's played. I don't know. Oh God, I think you might know the figure, but like 300 odd. He's the most capped Harlequin, which is like, and he's still playing and. Like it's just, and he's won the Prem, he's won stuff in Europe. Like it's just, and he's obviously capped, I think, 73 times with England. So I mean, like, just his whole drive to be better, no matter. Like it's a bit like Tom Brady. Like obviously, Mike isn't as old as Tom Brady, but like it's just the fact that like working so hard on his recovery and his training and like going out of his way to make sure he can be in the best possible shape for when the season starts. I think that's something that I really admire, and hopefully I can translate into my game.
I'd love to see Brownie still playing at fullback when he's 40. How good would that be? He's still trucking
in
along.
Japan or somewhere.
Yeah, I'd say he's actually the form 15 in England at the minute, but I'm Eddie Jones. So.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't know why he's not in the team. That's my it's just that he does nothing wrong at all.
Eddie, if you're listening, he wants him in. So there we go. That's
I'm sure he'll listen to me.
Yeah, I think we've probably got time for 2 more. Do you want to go for the next one, Mike?
Well, I was going to finish the last one, so do you want to do yours?
Go on then, I'll go next. I want to know, and I guess it kind of ties into that one, so it might be a similar answer, but who's the toughest member in the squad?
Basically, who do you not want to fight?
Probably, Mike, Joe Marler, James Chisholm as well. He's really tough. So a lot of forwards. Actually, Andre. Yeah, I don't want to fight him. I would not fight. Because I think he knows boxing as well, or some form of fighting. So I really don't. He's 6'4" and whatever. So it's just like, yeah, no, they're tough guys. I mean, I think he broke his nose against Bath and carried on playing.
Yeah, mental, wasn't it?
And then he played the next week.
He's a tough kid. We probably missed him a bit yesterday, but obviously he's just had a baby girl, or baby boy. Exactly. I can't remember. All the best to him. I don't know if you saw a couple of weeks ago. I won't do it again because it was unbelievably embarrassing. Were you a Soccer AM fan back in the day?
I did watch a bit. I am a football fan. My team's Arsenal, so we're playing today.
North London derby.
Yeah. Huge game today, yeah.
That's huge. If we lose, I will be in a bad mood all week. So,
well, Brighton are actually playing. Brighton are playing currently playing against Southampton in a. Oh, it's 1-1. I can see. Okay.
You support Brighton?
Yeah, born in the south, mate. So Brighton over Albion, blue and whites in the blood, seagulls.
Yeah, it's good. It's good that you support such a good team.
Yeah, it's weird. I go to school and we got all the kids. And I go, I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm a United fan. I'm like, look, stick to your.
I'm a Watford fan, so you lot actually sent us down at the end of last season.
This is what we're talking about. Isn't concerning you.
Yeah. Yeah, get back in the Championship. I won't make that joke too soon because we might actually end up there next year.
You might. You'll probably be there.
We're on the up, mate. Yeah.
Oh, mate, I'm terrified. Obviously, we're completely over the moon that you've just signed a new contract, and hopefully we've got loads and loads of more memories to make over the last however long it's going to be. Hopefully, with a long career with Quins. What is to date your favourite Quins memory?
Wow. Probably it would have to be the scoring my first try at Wasps. This season, either that or making my Prem debut against Leicester last season. But I think just being able to start and then like set up Danny's try and then also get a try of my own. It's like I think that was just a surreal moment and getting such an emphatic win. Like it was. I think it was the game after Paul unfortunately left, and I think it was just as a whole team performance as well. Like beating a team like that who was in the final a couple months ago by such a margin and playing so well. I think it was something that was really important for the team. And obviously for me to get a try along the way, it was just quite special. As you said, I wish there was fans there, but I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better moment, really.
Amazing, love that. I mean, thanks again so much for coming on. Will and I have been looking forward to getting someone on in the last couple of weeks. So yeah, buzzing it was you. Hopefully a nice long charge down to the playoffs at the end of the year. Hopefully get some fans back in soon, and we'll watch you running in tries for years and years to come. So mate, cheers for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me, guys. It was really fun.
Cheers, Lewis.
Cheers, guys. Thanks, guys.
Mate, how good was that? What a class bloke.
Yeah, that was quality, wasn't it? He spoke incredibly well. Seems like a really, really good bloke as well. I can't wait to get out at the Stoop and support him in person. He's going to have a brilliant career. I've got no doubt about that. And I really enjoyed talking to him about more than just rugby, to be honest. I think a lot of people talk about his family, his name, but I'm just a big fan of Lewis Lynagh as himself. I think he's a great bloke. He's going to have a great career, that's for sure.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I won't dig you out too much, mate. But I did actually pick him in my full 15, and you didn't. Or we did this for you at the start of the podcast. Do you remember that?
We're going to get Nathan Earl on. He's going to back me.
Yeah, quality. No, mate, absolutely spot on. Great bloke. Really enjoyed talking to him, and hopefully he's got a long and fruitful career in the courses of Harlequins with some silverware at the end of it. And then, obviously, tiny bit of club chat before we wrap up. The Harlequins Foundation Full House Challenge started a couple of weeks ago. We mentioned it on the podcast last week. 14,000 seats in the Stoop they were trying to fill. Yeah. What's the exact number?
14,816.
There you go. There's the exact number. I can never remember it. So yeah, we smash that 10 now?
We better get squatting then.
Yeah, plenty more to do. So yeah, thank you so much everyone for joining us. We were so lucky to chat to Lewis. He seems like a class bloke. Hopefully a big win against Gloucester next week. And Will and I have got plenty more squats to do. So thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Will, cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Take it easy, everyone. Bye-bye.